How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yes, very good, very good.
I think we should start with a bit of backstory on who you are. So, if you want to introduce yourself, go for it.
Sure. Uh, Hi, I'm Toby. I study industrial design at Loughborough University. Um, I'm currently on my placement year, doing an internship in London, and then in October, hopefully, I'll be going back to uni to do final year, and then one year left, and that should be it. But due to the current situation, things have been a little bit complicated, shall we say? And my internship has kind of fizzled out somewhat. Yeah, so that's me at the moment. Yeah.
So, with your internship placement assignments, what are you left being able to do at home during this time for that?
So everything for university work, so everything they expect us to do, which is the dissertation and just a presentation saying what we've done, like a report sort of thing, that can all be done. I can do that fine at home. And that's basically based on what work you did at placement. Now, because I did the amount of time needed for the placement, um, I'm fine. I can actually fill that out. And the minimum requirement to get the degree was, I think, 32 weeks. I might be wrong there, but since the pandemic, they cut it down to 25. And luckily, when lockdown began, I'd just done 25 weeks. So yeah, that's been a bit of a challenge, because also my agency's really small, the one I was working for, and I was sort of promised work at home, but it's just not really. It's not happened basically. So it's been a real challenge of trying to keep myself sort of busy and motivated to do my own stuff, and yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge really.
So, will you have any time given back to you to make up, or will you just go straight into the next year? Have it, as you said, because you've done enough anyway.
I should think it will just be straight into the course. Yeah. Yeah. So I've taken this time just to focus on my own stuff and get the uni work done, which is fine by me. But I do kind of, I'd rather be doing actual work.
So, will this affect your degree as a whole?
Because I've done the 25 weeks, it should be, it should be fine. Yeah, it should be
What
okay.
about classmates that haven't managed to do the full term yet?
Oh, it's such a mess. Well, to be honest, I don't think I know anyone who's not done 25 weeks.
Mm.
Loads of people have been furloughed. Some people have had their placements cut short, which obviously they've just been let go, so they've not got the amount of money they were expecting for the year, in terms of pay. Mine was unpaid, and I had the luxury of being able to live at home and then commute in to London, with expenses paid and whatnot. So I wouldn't say I'm not missing out on pay, obviously, because I'm unpaid, but it's more the sort of feeling like you're doing proper work sort of thing, when someone else is telling you what to do rather than telling yourself. So
How has your uni adapted to the coronavirus? Obviously, you say you've got your assignments from home now, and you will go into the next year, hopefully,
yeah.
as normal. Is there any other sort of changes uni has done for you?
For me, not really at the moment. I was quite impressed actually when before lockdown was announced, they were on it. We got an email from the vice chancellor, and they had already acted upon what was in the news and whatever, and basically cancelled any lectures, or not cancelled, sorry, made lectures online and any sort of coursework stuff that could be done online. They did it straight away, which was really, really good. And I think next year it's just going to be smaller groups, because my degree is very hands-on. Like, we need workshop time and stuff, which can't be done over online and stuff. Yeah, so I assume those changes will be made depending on what happens, but at the moment I'm not really sure.
So your degree is in the creative field. Does that mean you have a lot of practical work that you have to do that you're missing out on because you're at home and don't have the resources as much?
Yeah, so next year, especially, our major finishing project is the main submission is a working prototype of a product, which obviously can't be made at home. So that's going to be tricky if it comes back in November or whatever, or it does, the virus doesn't fizzle out. Who knows really? But I hope there's a way of us still being able to use facilities, because otherwise our course just won't be possible. And Loughborough is quite a sporty uni as well. I also think that a lot of athletes who train there, they're going to need to use the facilities as well. So I assume if things get better, I think they'll probably just mitigate how much contact people have. It'll probably be smaller groups, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Do you miss uni at all?
Ooh. Yes. Yes. Yeah. At the beginning of the placement, it was quite weird because obviously first year and second year you're almost constantly surrounded by your classmates and stuff, and then suddenly going from that, which had been especially living in like halls and then living in a 7-person house last year, and then going to this placement working in a tiny agency. And it's a weird thing when you commute because there's so many people, and you think, oh, but you're surrounded by people. How can you feel lonely? I guess you think, yeah, but it's not the same if these people don't know you and you don't know them. And there's no sort of connection there. It doesn't help. That side of things, it was quite weird to adapt to, and especially now, it's like you look back at what you were doing this time last year and you're like, oh, just want to go back, but yeah, got to sit it out,
Because I did that for the whole time I was at university. I didn't live in any homes or anything, so you always feel a bit different.
How
And
long
don't
was your
mix
commute?
it. My commute was on average 40 minutes.
Ooh, well, that's quite long.
Yeah, but I made good connections with the taxi drivers, so
Hey. You also think since this lockdown, I've learned to appreciate that time that you spend with commuting, because it's kind of a forced time where you can't do anything but sort of just sort of sit there and just wait to arrive at your destination. Oh, you can go on your phone, you can do whatever, but you don't have that now, and it's in some ways it's great because you're like, oh wow, I've got loads of time now. But then it's kind of like sort of appreciate that time because I forced myself to read and I forced myself to do other stuff, and but yeah.
In a way, it's like we're commuting all the time, but to nowhere because we have to do
Yeah,
something to occupy our free time.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Is there anything you wish was different about the way that the coronavirus has affected your university experience?
Yeah, I really feel for the people who this is their final year. I think that must be really tough. I can't imagine what that's like. Obviously, I haven't been affected by the virus directly, and I have to just say how fortunate it is to say that. I have had the luxury to be able to isolate. A lot of people have had to be working, and very, really thankful for people like that, because without them, people working in shops, nurses, doctors, my mum's a nurse, and it's just like without people like that, it's just the world wouldn't turn. So I don't really know if there's so many things you could say. Oh, I wish it was better, but in a way, it's kind of been a massive eye opener, I think, for the world that this society is very fragile in so many ways. I don't know. Yeah, I think in terms of people who are graduating now, I don't know whether it's going to be the same this time next year. Who knows? It might be. But I hope they get a chance to, finish properly, if that makes sense.
Do you worry that there is going to be an effect on you and your final year because of like a second wave or something? Is that something that you not worry about but think about perhaps?
I think there probably will be. I think it will be impossible for there not to be an impact on it. Um, so the people I'm living with next year, we're just sorting out sort of the internet and bills and stuff, whatever, getting stuff ready for moving in. But then I was also thinking, the people who were living in that house this year, have they even moved out yet? Because chances are they just went home like, what, 3 months ago. So
Yeah.
and when are we going to move in? Like, that's probably not going to happen until quite late now. So
You're isolating with your dad, aren't you?
yes.
Yeah. So what's it like having a split family during the coronavirus and choosing where to be and not seeing, some of the other half of your family as well?
Well, it's terrible because me and my dad have the same sense of humour, which is really, really bad jokes. Um, no, it's been okay. The reason I'm living with dad mainly is because I was able sort of to commute from here. It was my mum lives in the next county, so it's a lot easier to commute from here than it would be from my mum's. And I suppose it's just been like I was at uni for her. Really, she's not seen me a huge amount, but in recent weeks we've met up a couple of times for social distance walks, which is all very good. Keeping in contact, like groups of mates as well. We've been doing video calls and stuff. So yeah, it's been. You've got to try your best to stay in contact with what you've got. So
Yeah.
yes.
So how have you been occupying your time in lockdown?
Ooh, what have I been doing? One thing I've not been doing is using social media too much. I find at the best of times, social media is a bit like a drug, where it kind of it's like a slot machine. You go, and that's how it's designed. Obviously, you go on there, and it's almost like instant gratification. And before you know it, you've spent an hour on social media, and you're like, "What am I doing?" And I think in a time like this, it's like it's really not the best thing. So, other than that, going out and about, walking around the fields, trying to do my own bits and bobs, and yeah, just anything that's interesting that isn't too much of an effort, if that makes sense. Something that you can naturally do and just enjoy. And
Yeah, I'm guilty. I had quite a lot of motivation at the beginning to, start drawing again or take photography and all that sort of thing. But recently I have gone back to social media and it's not been the worst. I think I try and make it as healthy as I can. Um,
oh
but I was
yeah, for
talking
sure,
with
there's
my
definitely.
friends and we were talking about how actually at the minute quite a lot of it is getting a bit healthier than the stigma around it, because obviously it's intended to connect you with people and that's actually what it's doing now. For example, we were talking about how we've spoken to people that we haven't spoken to in ages, just because checking up on how they are during this time, like us. Like I last saw you in person, what, 5 years ago?
God, was it that long?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
In person for sure, yeah. But here we are and it's refreshing, so that's.
That's true. That is, yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And obviously there's ways that social media can be used positively because that's like you say, that's what it was for. Um, and yeah, I have noticed that actually you tend to talk to people more than you would normally
Yeah.
because
I wonder if this will maintain when coronavirus is over, though. That's what I'd like to know.
I hope so. I really hope so.
But yeah, I do need to get back into finding some hobbies, to be honest. What have you found the hardest about lockdown?
um, at the beginning, I was kind of a bit like, okay, life has changed quite a bit. And when it was first announced, because my boss texted me, I think it was the week before lockdown was official. My boss was like, um, given how things are, if you don't feel comfortable coming in, don't come in, because obviously it's like it's a lot of public transport, like train, tube, walk, tube, and it's like okay, not really comfortable if there's a pandemic going on, having this much contact in the middle of the capital, like um, and when he was first like, I'd rather you didn't come in. I was like, I was really frustrated. But then after a day, I kind of was like, you know, this is all right. Like it could be a hell of a lot worse.
So, what is the best?
Ooh. Having the opportunity to almost reset your schedule, I guess, in a way. Like you've, for me, I've been fortunate and unfortunate in the way that I've not got work to do, not work. So I've been able to completely reset what I do in the week, you know. So having that freedom, I guess, freedom to do whatever you want in the day, I guess that's the best thing. And I understand that a lot of people wouldn't have that luxury, but I think for me, that's probably been the best thing. For you, what's been the best thing for you?
Ooh, to be honest, my life hasn't really changed because I was job searching when this kicked in, and I'd only just really started job searching. So I graduated in August, but I didn't get around to like properly job searching until December, and I kind of felt a bit deflated with that. But actually, life hasn't really changed because I wasn't committed to anything yet. And in a way, I've come to terms with the fact that nothing's really changed, and actually, it's a good thing that I can do what I like. Like as you say, it's time to make your own schedule and not have the guilt of like, oh, I should be job searching right now. That's quite nice, is knowing this isn't my fault and actually I can have downtime without feeling guilty that I haven't got onto anything since graduation yet. So that's quite nice. I think that's probably the best part, not being guilty about it.
It's like forced downtime, isn't it? It's like you have to stay at home.
I mean, a lot of the time people say, you graduate and then you have to, look for your first job. And I didn't get around to it at all until this started. And then this started and I couldn't job search. So I was like, great, cool. But it wasn't my fault. So I'm back to feeling guilt-free.
Cool. That's good. That's good.
It was your birthday last month in isolation.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Quite old. 22.
Quite old? It's my birthday next week. Shut up. We're not old. So how was your birthday?
It was good. Yeah, it was all right. It was, do you know what? It was just a day. It was another day, really. Mum came down. We had a wander around the field.
Did it feel any different to a normal birthday?
Very, very different, yeah. But then I think everyone's going through this. So I was just like, a day of doing whatever I want, kind to a certain extent.
So it wasn't like a negative different for you?
No, I wouldn't say it was negative. No.
Just more relaxed.
Yeah.
Less hangovers, perhaps.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, did someone do a bit of house drinking?
I may have had a bit of a tipple, maybe. Yeah. No, it was just a chill day, really, and that's kind of, as long as you don't go into it with a negative mindset and think, oh, poor me or whatever, I think it's all right. There's always time to celebrate after.
I was going to say, are you going to celebrate it afterwards? I've been saying to my friends that I might get a birthday badge and put it on after isolation and see what freebies I can get out and about.
Yes, that's a good idea. Yeah, well, I don't know how possible this is going to be now, but the people I'm living with, we were kind of decided we're going to have a party at some point. I don't, like I say, if that's even going to be possible, because quite a few of us have had birthdays in this. It's like a combined housewarming party thing. But again, if it's possible, it will happen, I guess. So
I assume we'll just all come together having parties as a general celebration as opposed to specific. My friend Alan's been saying about how we might have a street party. I was like, okay, fine.
Oh yeah.
So did you have anything like a virtual party or anything like that for yours, or have you attended any for anyone else?
Not really a virtual party, but I've done quite a few group calls. So with the family and whatever, mates. I've not actually done one of these virtual parties. Have you done one?
I don't have enough friends, hun. So what will be the first thing that you do out of isolation when it's all over?
I'm gonna go for a drive. A long drive. No, I don't know actually. What will it be?
Down south, perhaps?
Yeah. Probably just catch up with mates. If London's good to go to, probably might go and visit my workplace. Say hi. I don't know. Oh, this is a really rubbish answer. What am I going to do? Just go out.
It makes people think this one. I like asking
people. Yeah. Dad and I have actually put up a cabin in the garden and bought some weights, which took ages to arrive. So yeah, we've kind of got a bit of a gym set up going, but which is amazing. So I don't
That is
actually know
the most
if
Cahill thing I think I've ever heard.
I'm.
I'm not gonna lie.
Do you know,
That is so
that's
good.
been such a lifesaver, having stuff to do, like
Yeah.
having a cabin to put up.
I
Like,
would love to have some gym equipment, to be honest. Even just some weights. I miss that. I was on quite high weight, so I can do all the exercises and everything, but it just doesn't feel the same.
Have you seen how much they are online now? They are so expensive. That in the last month or so, the prices it's so bad how much
Yeah.
the price has gone up.
Yeah. I might have to social distance to your garden because I miss doing weights of sort.
January time, I said to my boss, I said, look, if this does actually happen, obviously I didn't think it was going to happen. I said, what is the point where you say don't come into work?
Mm.
And I said it seriously, but in my head, I didn't think it was going to be. I had no idea it was going to come to this. And then it happened. I was like, and then I thought back to when it wasn't really a worry in the UK anyway. And you're thinking, hang about, this has happened so quickly. Like, what? It'll either be a depression or there'll be a boom at the end of the year, because so much money has been pumped into the economy. The effect it will have will be, there'll be nothing you can do about it. So it could either be really good or not good.
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't hit a depression as much as I have. There's been moments, but I'm impressed. I assume it's because it's not much changed for me. I assume that's what it is. But
Do you know what? That's good to hear. That's good to hear. But it's funny, isn't it, when a lot of people saying, "Oh, we'll be doing this, we'll be doing that," but actually, this is kind of, if I didn't have my placement, this would be life. Like,
yeah, I spent most of my year, as I said, having a gap year of self-finding until this happened and has just extended the experience. So, it's not changed for me. And I found it interesting at the beginning as well when people were saying that actually a lot of people with anxiety were the people less anxious about the coronavirus because it's just something we experience all the time and everyone else was therefore in a panic. And we were just like, we just accept death on a regular basis. That's just how we live. And I just could not relate to anything more. I was like, I felt like the only person that wasn't anxious of some form because of the coronavirus, whether it was like a financial thing or whether I was going to get it or I had no anxiety around it, and it was interesting to read that I wasn't the only person.
I was worried that somebody I knew was going to get it, or if I had it without realizing and had passed it on. That's what I was worried about.
But I suppose you can't really get worked up about that because if you've had it and passed it on without knowing, then you haven't known about it. There's nothing you could have done about it. It's weird as well, like, in general, making the most of it when knowing other people are struggling. Like, I don't like how everyone's in the same boat but different. This all we're in it together thing just doesn't add up to me.
We're all in it, but like you say, we're in different boats. We're in the same ocean, but
we're on the same sea, but different.
Yes, exactly.
Deep.
Exactly. Very deep water.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's been very nice catching up with you. I think that sums up how we've been doing in quarantine. It's been nice catching up with you after 5 years.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Yeah.
Got to do this again and maintain the contact now we're in it again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Positives of isolation, I suppose. Getting back in touch and hope you stay well and
You too.
enjoy the rest of isolation and we'll catch up again soon.
Yes, you too.
Nice chatting.
Yes. Bye.
The worst thought is, if you think about it, how long we've been in quarantine, nearly 3 months now. Let's be honest, think of all the partners that are quarantined with each other. We might have a storm of babies at some point. That's scary. It would be like the baby boomer situation after the war, but during the coronavirus.
Oh my. Corona babies, flipping heck.
Quarantines at some point.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, that was sexy.
Was it? Baby elephant.
Yeah. That's fine. I know. To be fair, most of my seconds of the day from the beginning. What are you doing?
Sorry.